Okay, and looks like we're hopefully about ready to go here.
All set?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, before we start, I got a quick donation.
Oh, yeah?
You in particular, Dak.
Oh,
From
me?
Yeah.
Oh, my boy B. All right, what you got?
$20 saying $20 towards the cause. Good luck with marathon, guys. And a quick shout out to my Dak who will be on in the B run.
Oh, thank you so much, BB. Appreciate that. Of course, appreciate anyone who's doing this marathon. Obviously, this is a very wonderful cause, and I'm very happy to have been part of it. Yeah, so this is going to be Sonic 06. I'm going to be doing the no MSG category. If you're not familiar with what MSG is, it stands for the Mission Select Glitch. The idea is that a certain glitch was found that basically wrong warps you from the second level or so all the way to the credits. So the any percent category is only around 12 to 13 minutes based on whether or not you're doing Sonic Story or Silver Story. But I'm going to be doing no MSG, which means I'll be doing the old route, which is essentially from very first level all the way to the final boss, Beg Wyvern. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm ready to get started anytime.
So am I.
All right, I'll do a countdown. Do 3, 2, 1, go.
Works for me.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So obviously off the bat, we get our first most infamous thing from this game, the loading screen. There's quite a bit of it. We typically, runners, if we're doing a full RTA, and preferably really any speedrun involving this game, we tend to use the Xbox version, mostly because you're able to install the game to the console, and that allows you to decrease the loading times quite a bit. And there's also a myriad of PS3 issues that the console has with early multi-console games at the time, so it doesn't quite run too well.
I need to gather some information.
So the main idea right now, I guess story-wise, is that we're trying to get some information on Princess Elise and kind of save her. And that's as far as I'm going to go with the story, because it doesn't matter. So what I need to do right now is instead of going to finding Elise, I need to get some shoes, because Sonic his shoes aren't good enough, and that's it's important. It's plot relevant. So I'm going to do an awkward spin dash and scare that girl right here. I'm going to talk to this old guy. So, Santa Claus doesn't have the beard. I don't know what that's about. He's a shoemaker, and we're going to get some shoes from him. So he's all like, oh, I got these custom shoes. They're so great. You're going to love them. I want you to wear them. I want you to test them out, Mr. Anthropomorphic, crazy hedgehog that doesn't fit at all in this environment. Something to note is that whenever I talk to a person that has a little blue icon over their head, that's like a side mission. The unfortunate thing about that is that you have to talk to them twice and load individual loading screens, so it kind of takes some extra time. Right here, something to note is that every time I jump out of a spin dash, I'm actually having to use a different mechanic in the game. Normally, when you're in a spin dash state, you're not able to jump out of it. This caused people, when they played this game casually, even today, a lot of problems, and it's very, very clunky. It's very awkward. I can't stand it. What you can actually do, wrong button. What you can actually do is during the spin dash, you can cancel it into a spin kick, and by doing that, during the spin kick animation, you are actually able to jump. So even though it looks like I'm jumping out of the spin dash just by itself, I'm actually doing a very specific input where I hit the X button and then the A button following that. So you kind of hear this, kind of weird jump sound. So just one little particular mechanic to think about. You think it'd be more straightforward than that, but no, we have to. There's even a roundabout method to jumping. So this guy sells light chips for us to, light speed dash. Don't ask me why that's a thing. And we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna get a cool angle. Oh, hold on. No, do it. Oh, that was. Okay, that was strange. Did I not buy the chip? No, I didn't. I'm a silly Willy. I apologize for that. So I didn't buy the light chip. Normally what you would do in a speedrun, if you were good, like me, is you would buy the light chip and you would press the button to appropriately use it. I apologize for that. But anyway, we're going into the first level here, Wave Ocean. And we're going to be doing a pretty cool skip. It's one of my favorite tricks in the game. So a lot of loops in this game have a property of locking Sonic to it. It's very, very awkward, but I'm actually going to abuse that. So I'm going to jump here, hit this debris with this rock, Hit the loop right here. It's going to be a little awkward. Change the camera. Now, I'll explain this trick right after I'm done with it. I have to get a particular lineup. This should work. I have to get a 1-frame pause buffer. And perfect. We got that cave. That's very good. So what happens there is, I can't wait for the chat to get something. What happens there is when you do a 1-frame pause buffer on Sonic's jump, it buffers in a homing attack on the very first frame. But when you're going at an angle and Sonic is trying to attach himself to the loop, because of that 1 frame, he's unable to do so, and the game doesn't understand what to do. It wants to put Sonic somewhere because the homing attack is designed to lock onto something, but it doesn't have anything to lock onto due to that 1 frame of buffer. And so it sends him flying across the map, and you skip about, a minute of the level roughly. I think something about that. I'm terrible with timing. Right here is another cool little trick. So Tails has 2 methods of flight. You're gonna hold it, release, hold it again, and that allows us to skip over the majority of his section. Normally I'm supposed to press a button here and lower the switch, but I'm actually going to just touch it, and it's going to activate a trigger. What's cool about that is that gate always has the trigger active to continue the level. Normally you would close the gate, Sonic would awkwardly ride the whale over to it, and then once Sonic and the whale touch it, then this loading screen activates. But it's actually always active as long as you can get high enough to reach it. So that's an interesting little thing. There are 4 Mach speed sections in the game. This is the first one. The only real important thing to note visually that I'm doing here is that I'm going for certain trails of rings to light speed dash off. And whenever you light speed dash off of a trail of rings, if you don't hold a particular direction, you will actually maintain what we consider in the community to be like level 3 speed. So there are kind of like 3 speeds. You have your slow speed, you have your second speed when Sonic starts to put his arms a little farther behind him, and then you have your third speed, which is like right off the light speed dash. So I don't hold it, start holding it, don't hold it, start holding it. And you try to do it as much as possible off of a light speed dash, so that way you can get as much raw speed out of it as possible. There is a trick that back there, right where that ramp was, you can actually jump straight to the trigger for the ring, but it's a little bit risky if your angle isn't correct. You can actually fly too far to the right of the trigger and completely with it, so I don't typically go for it. Unless like I'm doing ILs or practice or something like that. So that's Wave Ocean. That was pretty all right. Once again, apologies for forgetting to buy the item at the beginning. That was a little embarrassing, but we're not going to worry about that. The next area is actually, we're going to do a little bit of a sequence break here. So the idea is that you're supposed to go back to the shop, buy another item, the anti-grav, which allows you to slide, go all the way back to the main building, go under this wall, hit a spring, save the girl, and then the cops will let you through to Dusty Desert. But we're actually going to break that a little bit. So there's some cool clips that you can do. I have to do 3 of them, and it's a little bit tricky. So I have to homing attack on the frame that I land. It's like that, so it's frame perfect, which is fun. Thankfully, it's a 60 FPS, so it's not the worst thing ever. There you go. Gotta get a line up here. There you go. So that wasn't too bad. And so doing that allows me to talk to the girl. Now, if you notice, I went ahead and hit the Dusty Desert level trigger immediately. What's cool about that is that we actually take out a loading screen doing this, and we go ahead and load it directly. Instead of having to load back into the hub world, we go straight to it. In this case, instead of Dusty Desert directly, we actually have to fight Egg Servers. I'm going to see what pattern I get here, and then based on what happens, I'll explain the fight further.
This is your pet, huh?
Okay, not a bad pattern. That's good. Oh, you almost screwed me. So there are several patterns that you can do at the start, some of which, like the one that he just did, are usually not too bad. It's easy to get on top of them. Other times, he'll immediately run away, and you can't chase up to him. You actually have to start the match over. It's very tricky because you typically have no rings during this. You don't really have time to go out of your way to get a ring because you need to get onto his body really quickly, and then you also have to get over to those statues. By hitting the statues, you do double damage, so the fight ends rather quickly. It's very easy because of the awkwardness of grinding on his body, and because his body is constantly shifting, to accidentally whiff the horn, and like Sonic's foot will touch a part of his body, and Sonic will just die because you don't have any rings. So there's a bit of a risk factor there. Thankfully, because of the RNG and the risk, it is at the beginning of the run, so it's not horrible. But it is quite frustrating. A lot of runs tend to die to things like that between Wave Ocean and that boss. But thankfully we're out of it pretty clean. Got a couple of cutscenes, or yeah, skipped a cutscene there. There are 2 levels where you have to carry Elise, who I will call from this point on as Chicken Legs. We have to carry Chicken Legs all the way to the end of the stage, and her gimmick is that well, first of all, she's annoying, and second of all, we have this shield. If you hold the right trigger, you carry the shield. If you see the bottom right of the screen, you have a meter that will drain the more you use it. If you're not holding the shield, when you touch sand, you will just fall through as if it was water. So we don't want that to happen. So right here, I'm just going to walk down, and then once I get to a slope, I'm going to start homing attacking. And that's going to give us a little bit of speed. Kind of recover very quickly on a slope like that. I'm just going to walk through these enemies because, you know, why not? Programming. Go through this loop-de-loop. This ring. These stages are pretty limited in terms of mobility, so they tend to be some of the easier stages. Tropical Jungle is the later one. It's really not too bad outside of a couple other things, but I'll explain those when they come. And I'm going to get hit there on purpose. The reason I do that, this is actually kind of interesting for this game, the reason I do that is that if you were to get an S rank on a stage, for example, every medal that you get at the end of the stage takes about 7 seconds. If you get an S rank, you have to go through 2 of them, so you actually spend 14 seconds. What I do by getting hit there is that I lose my rings, and it keeps me from getting an S rank. I'm only able to get an A rank, and it speeds this up considerably. So instead of having to sit through an extra 7 seconds, I skip that entirely. There's a few stages that we do that in to make sure we don't get an S rank. That's quite important. So again, if this was the typical any percent category, I would actually go ahead and defeat Silver and then immediately go to the end of the game. But after we defeat Silver, we are going to go through the rest of the game. Now, this fight is super, super, super hard, so I'm going to need some focus here. So watch this. These are all frame perfect, by the way. Oh, we got it. Awesome. Just 3 claps for your boy. So, Silver. Here's the thing about that. Obviously, I was joking. I hope everyone knows I was joking about that. That's probably the easiest thing you can do in the game. If anyone happens to want to replay this game and they don't want to have to deal with the monstrosity known as a casual Silver fight, you can simply do that and you'll be fine. I always find that quite amusing. So yeah. That's Silver. Pretty straightforward fight. You basically just walk away far enough from him to where you hear him jump, and then you turn around and you hit him. That's all you do. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So right now we have a much harder boss, the captain. So we have to find out who's the captain. Now I don't know if you guys know who the captain is. I certainly don't. I'm gonna take a wild guess and try to figure this one out. So. This guy is a complete jerk. So the idea in the story is that these guys are standing around and they're all like, "Hey, I know Princess Elise, our princess of Soliana, is captured by Eggman, and everything's terrible, and you're trying to save her. But we want to play a game with you before you can progress to the next area in order to save her. We want you to find out who's the captain, because these guys are jackasses." So there's like 4 of them, I think, or whatever. Turns out it's this guy. Spoilers. So we're gonna talk to him now. My goal is to get a sub 2. No, I ruined it. Oh, I could have had the sub 2. I'm so sorry. This runs over, by the way, but I'm gonna keep going just because marathon's sake. I want to be polite. But I guess it's okay. I mean, it's fine. Not a big deal, even if it is. So we still got to find Elise. That was a bit of a waste of time, but we still got to find Elise. So we're going to actually go and find Knuckles. From this point on, we have a couple of little missions to do. Not just that one. We have to battle at a warehouse and then battle at a cave gate thing. And that'll take us to the next actual stage, which is White Acropolis. So just a little more information on this game. There are 3 characters that you can play as. You can play as Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. There is some crossover in terms of level design between these characters, particularly an area that's coming up in White Acropolis. Right there, I went ahead and grabbed the anti-grab. That's the item that I would have grabbed earlier before I went to Dusty Desert, but obviously because we skipped through the buildings, we didn't quite need it. But yeah, in White Acropolis, a considerable amount of the level, particularly the second half of the level, is mostly made up of assets from like Shadow's level and that sort of stuff, and that kind of becomes a reoccurring theme. So it's kind of interesting. You'll see what I mean when as far as what we can abuse to skip over the level. So right here, I'm gonna knock these guys out. Make sure that there's no other. And you really want to make sure that you don't miss any enemies here because they do spawn in set rates. If you skip one, then you'll miss out on the spawn. And so there's some general routing that I do here. Homing attacks are pretty straightforward. There is a bit of a timing to it as far as chaining them together optimally. And I'm using anti-grav here to knock out a bunch of these little guys. That tends to be pretty quick. You can actually use them on here as well. Normally, if I had the bounce bracelet, which I don't get later until before Radical Train, that would actually make it a bit quicker, but anti-grav seems to do the job pretty well. So we're getting rid of these guys. Some awkward collision detection on those buildings there, but that's fine. Oh, one over there. These guys can kind of spread out. It's this stage tends to be fairly RNG, especially at the end, because of how the green robot guys can place themselves. It's a bit of an annoyance, but you know, it's not the worst thing ever. Kind of deal with it.
Incredible.
And yeah, so we're gonna go. Well, in this cutscene, I'm gonna skip where we talk to Eggman, or talk to Knuckles, and he's all like, "Haha, Eggman's planning a trap, but we got to go anyway." But you know, hilarious and original. So we're gonna go to the cave gate fight, knock that out. Whoops, and go to White Acropolis. So not a whole lot to talk about until then, really. Which is better, casual or speedrunning? I would say speedrunning, but you can find some hilarious things out of a casual playthrough of this game. I will tell you that. So again, during long periods where I'm trying to spin dash here, instead of letting my spin dash run out, I go ahead and cancel the end part of it with a kick, and then I immediately cancel back into it, because once you do a kick, and the kick animation ends, you immediately come to a halt, and it provides me a time to immediately go into a spin dash animation, as opposed to trying to slow myself down to the point where I can stop and then go into it. So it's a bit of what a jerk. Did you see that? I don't appreciate that. But yeah, a bit more of an optimization there. I'm going to take my anger out on these guys a little bit. Bop, 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 bop. And then again, just slide on these guys a bit. And bam. Let's see if we can get a funny angle of Tails. There's a way I can get the camera angle to focus on Tails in a really strange way. Let's see if I can get lucky here. Oh, I didn't. Sometimes his butt will be right in the camera, like he'll be clipping through the model. It's really funny, but in this case, I guess he's just gone. I think he just bailed. It was this bad time. I don't know what time it is. I don't know how their time zones work. But he's chilling somewhere. What percentage of the run is loading screens? You know, I feel like during the SGDQ run, I feel like Triple Agent, my good friend Liam, I feel like he had an answer to that, but I can't remember. But yeah, so we're going to go straight in the White Acropolis. The first part of this is going to be a snowboard section. Now there's a couple things to note. There's a glitch called the speed cap glitch. The idea is that we're going to raise the base, or we're going to raise the cap on Sonic's normal speed by manipulating one of the ramps. So whenever you hold the jump button and let it go at the tip of a ramp, it'll launch you forward at a very set momentum and then drop you immediately down. It's kind of awkward. But by jumping a little bit before the ramp ends, we can actually store that property like that, and Sonic will get pulled back down. Now there's a second one I can do here that's against this rock for some reason, and I got it. I'm gonna have to focus here because when you get 2 speed caps, you go very, very fast, and it's incredibly difficult to control, and there's a good chance that if I don't do this correctly, I could clip through a wall and die. So I'm having a good start. And I didn't jump off the side there, so that's good. I think we're fine. It's very, very hard to control this. I've actually only started doing this recently. So I'm still new. The nice thing about this is that not only is it really fast and it saves a lot of time, but I don't have to manually jump at the very end. So I completely keep my momentum. I go straight off of it, and instead of getting to that door around like a 108 or a 109 without a speed cap, and maybe like a 103 or 104 with one, I get like a sub 1. I get like a 55 or a 56. So it saves quite a bit of time, which is really nice. Now this is that whole shadow stage I was telling you about where you use cars and stuff, but I'm just going to flip through, and we are at the end. Now there's a bit of physics RNG, but I've been getting this every run since I've come back to the game, and I got it again because I'm a god. So if Triple Agent was here, he would want to shoot me. So the idea behind what I just did is that because of the wonderful Havoc physics engine that this game is advertised to have and boasted to the ends of the earth, you hit that tower and it collapses randomly on itself. Now it is physics RNG, so depending on how that platform places itself on the debris, it'll make a difference as to whether or not I can actually make it up to that platform. If I don't do that, and if I go around the slow way, I can go the way that like Shadow would take his car to go, which is it's the way Sonic is supposed to go in that level, but it's basically, you know, it's basically the way that Shadow is supposed to go. It's Shadow's level. But that it saves a considerable amount of time skipping that section. But again, it's RNG based. I just happen to get it all of the time because I'm amazing. So you go straight into another snowboard section here. There is a speed cap glitch here. I'm not going to do it because I'm very, very terrible at it. And if you miss time actually trying to get the initial cap on this ramp that's coming up right here, you will fall and die. And I don't want to keep doing that. So for the sake of the marathon and for the sake of me personally, because I'm just bad, I know I just said I'm a god, but I'm bad. It's okay. It's a split personality. I'm just going to avoid doing that. It does save a considerable amount of time, but it's very, very risky. Not only in the factor that you could die when actually trying to get the cap in the first place, but if you touch any of those fire pillars, you completely go off at a 90-degree angle, and if you've noticed, there are pitfalls everywhere. So it's pretty terrifying. I'm kind of a wuss, but you know we'll live. I feel like I don't think any of you guys will be too mad at me. If you are mad, you can send an angry letter to my Twitter. You can follow me at IHYorPie. Just message me. You know, whatever angry words you want. I really don't care. It's fine. I'll look into it later. But anyway, we got to find the database. So as you can see, the city's on fire. That's not good. Oh, by the way, plot-wise, we're stuck in the future. I'm not even going to tell you what happened. So I'm just going to, there's a rail here. I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to jump all the way down here and then land on this. And so that skips a big portion. Whole city is on fire. Thank you for the reminder. There is a jump here that saves about a second. Again, I'm a huge wuss and I hate this jump now. I used to be able to do it easy peasy every time, but I'm bad, so I'm not going to do that. I hope Triple Agent is not watching me. And then I'm going to homing attack these dudes. Get this ring. Now, the homing attack is, as you can see, very lenient in a lot of ways. You can get magnetized to anything, and that can work in your favor and against it. So there are a number of places that will be kind of abusing that. That was one example. Right here, I need to make sure that I do not press a single button because Sonic will do some weird stuff and completely whiff some of those pads. And from here on, it's some general movement, nothing too complicated. Oh. Try to get to this one. There you go. So the movement in this game, and I've heard this from a lot of people who have watched various speedruns of this game. They say, like, how do you make the movement look so fluid compared to when you play the game normally? And you know, I can't even answer that question myself, honestly. I feel like I just you know, I pick up the controller and I make it happen. But really, I feel like a lot of it comes down to knowing how the jump out of a spin dash, and just knowing how to deal with a lot of the weird stuff in this game, because there are a considerable amount of places where, you know, you're riding along a vertical wall, and if you're just holding forward and minding your own business and playing it as if you would play any video game, you suddenly fall for no reason. And in the speed run, we know, oh, if I hold a very slight up left angle, it seems kind of silly, but if I hold a very slight up left angle, it'll never happen. I shouldn't have to do that. but you know, I do for the sake of this run. There's a lot of that in this game, and it's quite interesting from my perspective, honestly. These little tiny quirks where, you know, there's a cave and it turns to the left, and you think, oh, you're on the scripted path, so I just hold forward. But if you don't hold slightly to the left, then you collide into the wall. Little things I find very interesting. This section, I'm going to concentrate a little bit because it's terrible. I'm also going to play it safe by going to the left. So, oh god. There we go. So this section, another example, well, kind of sort of example of physics RNG. Everything kind of falls at a set pace, but it also depends on how fast Sonic is going and how it's going to track it. I believe the objects typically track more so if you're at like a level 2. I forget how it works. I feel like Liam explained it to me before. But I am going to do something a little bit risky here. That was very bad. And yeah, so it can be quite terrifying to do this section, because here's the thing: every single part of a car, when it falls and explodes, every single individual part, from the gas tank to the wheels to the doors, every single little bit has its own individual hitbox as soon as it separates. So any one of those little things can hit you, and it's very, very frustrating. Typically, newer players will die a lot on the on this Mach Speed section a lot. I was notorious for doing that. But thankfully we got through it. And again, I had to make sure that I did get hit at the end. I got hit unintentionally at one point, but I was able to get hit near the end, and that kept us from getting an S rank, so that will save, again, that 7 seconds. So that's quite important to have. Flame Core is one of my both favorite and least favorite levels for a number of reasons. I find it just to have a very interesting layout and various strats that are able to be used. But there are just a couple of skips here and there that tend to screw me over in a lot of ways. Mostly my fault, but again, it tends to be a little tricky. But I'm gonna try to be pretty speedy here. This is a speed run. So again, this is one of those walls that I just talked about where you have to know the exact angle to kind of go at. Right here, there's a pretty cool skip, if I can get it. There we go. So that jump's pretty tight. I actually homing attack right before I make the jump in order to line it up properly. Doors do not exist. That's the only door that you can actually, well, there's another door that you can go into. Kind of, sort of. And this is a fairly new jump. I think it saves about a second. So that particular door doesn't exist. There's one coming up that we do have to kill the enemies for. Oh, whoops, my bad. That was a mistake. Yeah, there is a door that we're gonna have to kill all the enemies in front of to activate it, but that's no big deal. Doesn't take too long. So don't ask me why one door works and one door doesn't. It's not really. I'm not a programmer. So again, just homing attacking these dudes, pretty straightforward. And I try to delay myself a little bit there because that bird will shoot a rock at you, and if you try to jump straight from the door as it's opening and get there too early, it can bop you out of the air. So I learned that lesson the hard way. Oh, that meteor almost got me. The meteors can come down and hit you at almost any point during this, like even when I'm jumping from platform to platform. I've even had one hit me right there as I'm going up the volcano. I had one hit me and bop me out of the air. So that was fun. But thankfully we didn't get bopped too hard. Worked out pretty well. So now we're inside of the volcano because that's where Sonic wants to be. He's pretty excited about it. And we're gonna do one of my favorite clips in this run. Anti-grav is pretty broken. And you'll see for a reason. Whenever you're on a vertical surface, anti-grav can do some really strange things. I have to do a very specific kind of input here. And there you go. So, like I said, doors don't exist, and to a degree, walls don't exist either. What's cool about this is that not only do I get in this room faster, but I retain my invincibility. And that allows me, that was interesting, that allows me to get to that area faster. I'm gonna hit this checkpoint just in case, because there's a skip coming up that I'm kind of bad at. And we're about to go hang out with our dude Knuckles, so get your and Knuckles in while you can. It's gonna be the last time we see him for a bit. But he'll be back later, do not worry, do not fret. So there's a very cool skip here that we're gonna go out of bounds on. I have to make sure that I fly a very specific way, otherwise I'm not gonna change the loading zone, and I'm gonna die. So, and there you go. So if you see the screen light up like that, you did it correctly. If it stays dark and you just run into a death plane and die, that means that I'm bad. And for some reason, when you're in a flight, if you hit that flame pillar, it immediately like launches you down. Again, it's kind of, there's very weird physics that happen with Knuckles, because he's in an area that he's not supposed to be in. Like, that area was meant for Sonic. Obviously, I could move around during that results screen, so we just gave him a little bit of a lava nap. You know, he likes his, goodness, like lava, right? And again, it's pretty easy not to get S rank there. So get the A rank and we move on. So that was pretty good. A 255, pretty okay. Ideally, kind of want like a 245 or like a sub 250, but I'll take that. So right here, we have like 3 minutes of nothing. Unfortunately, there's this kind of this big middle section of a run where there's a couple ways to speed up this fight. It's really minuscule. I can't really, you know, do any big skips or anything interesting here. So if we have any donations, that would be super good right now, because I have nothing to talk about during this section. I'll be completely honest.
Unfortunately, we don't have any recent donations, but I would like to remind you all what we are doing this for. For those of you who don't know, California and the Western U.S. in general have experienced a lot of hardships over the past few years with wildfires. And last year, Ozzy889 decided he wanted to do something about it. So he recruited a few people, myself included, and we put together an event. And it raised a pretty reasonable amount of money for fire relief by the Red Cross. And we're doing it again this year because it's still a problem. We don't want it to keep being a problem, but it still is. So any money that you send in will help victims recover and help fight wildfires in the future. That's what this money goes toward. So the more you can afford, you know, the better. But don't feel obligated. Also, feel free to spread the word. That's a great way to
Absolutely.
get us more eyes on the screen, more people who might be able to donate. So even if you can't, don't feel bad. Just spread the word. That's enough.
Hey, what's wrong? Is that size just for show?
Yeah, and I'm personally very happy to have been approached by OC to help with this marathon. If for those in chat who didn't know, I actually did all the layouts that you see on the screen and the in-between images and everything. That was all me. So I was very ecstatic because I enjoyed watching the previous marathon quite a bit, and I did donate some money to it for a good cause. I have family out in California, so it does mean something to me personally, and it's just been really great to work with everyone and get the layouts done. It's work that I'm very proud of, and yeah, and it's of course it's great to be running one of my favorite stupid video games in this marathon. So thank you all so much for coming out and watching, and for everyone who donates, and yeah, hopefully we'll all have a good time, and hopefully, I know we're all gonna have a good time. We obviously are. And yeah, so that's Iblis. Nothing happened. I ran to the orbs a little bit early, saves a few seconds. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. It's stupid. So that's out of the way. Thank God. We can get to the rest of the run. It's kind of nice to have that in the run as sort of like your halfway, well, not quite halfway point, almost halfway point. Kind of gives you a bit of a breather, you know, after Crisis City and Flame Court, because those are big, you know, hurdles to get through in a run, and when you're trying to have a good one going. And so, I just wish it wasn't quite as long. Maybe a minute and a half, you know, that would have been okay, but like 3 minutes, yeah, God, it's a nightmare.
Speaking of donations, Will, we just got one.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
This one is from American Hikikomori.
Miles, that's my dude.
And that's, hey Dax, good work on Sonic 06. Keep kicking, Lee. And I hope you're excited for History of Futa, part 1 of 48.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if that was censored by Tiltify or not, but yeah, there are just 3 asterisks there.
Probably. Looking forward to it, dude. It's gonna be good. And Miles is one of my video editing guys. Shouts to him. But yeah, so we're on our way to Radical Train. I went ahead and grabbed the bounce bracelet. little item. Doesn't quite work as comfortably as it did in its SA2B counterpart, but you know, it's all right. It's going to be quite handy though. It's actually very useful as an attack. So there are going to be some big enemies. You'll see me doing a sort of combination where I homing attack bounce. It's pretty useful. And there's also a couple other uses for it, so you'll see.
Shouldn't you save the train before chasing after me?
So the idea behind this level is that Elise is captured yet again on board a train, and for some reason Eggman thinks it's a good idea to drive it towards like walls and explosives and everything else. I don't know. He's trying to murder himself. I'm not exactly. I don't understand the purpose, but anyway, we're trying. It's basically a race. Right here, I'm gonna hold and jump. There you go. So that skips that section. Pretty convenient. And it's kind of hard to. It's really hard to sit there and explain, you know, how precise some of this movement is. Not to toot my horn or anything, but it's like some of the jumps and setups you have to do are quite picky. So thankfully, I've been running this off and on. I've been running this game off and on for about 3 years, so it's gotten pretty comfortable. So if any of this looks like really buttery smooth to people, there's it's not. Trust me, you have to figure out a lot of weird tricks to get it to look that way. And right here, this is gonna be this guy. Again, homing attack, bounce, homing attack, kills him pretty quickly, and then go through. So again, I managed to beat the train. I'm having to hit switches throughout that level to make sure that the next area opens up. If I were to somehow like clip through a door and skip that switch, then and move on to like way later in the level, then Elise would, you know, die, and we can't really have that. Oh, I'm sorry, chicken legs would die, and we can't have that.
Gotta speed up.
So again, right here is another Mach speed section. Pretty straightforward. I feel like a lot of runners kind of do this stuff differently. I'm going to do this one here and then jump. And it's going to carry my momentum through this section. Looks really scary, but trust me, I'm not going to die. And then every so often, I'm going to try to grab one of these and let my control stick go. Because again, if you let your control stick go after a light speed dash, you do gain a little, or you do keep a little bit of your level 3 speed. It's just tricky here because whenever you grab one of those, oftentimes one of the train cars is exploding, and if they hit you, you'll go immediately back down to level 1. So the convenient thing about the very end of that level is that by hitting that wall, I immediately lose all my rings, so no matter what I do, I will always get an A rank. So that's pretty nice. Normally, you're supposed to hit a ramp, go on top of the train, and hit the ring without getting hit, but I like that way better because it kind of have like the Mega Man one-frame explosion effect. It's pretty neat. So that was Radical Train. Pretty good. And we're going to be going up to another fight. So this boss fight, there is a strat. I'm actually going to go ahead and go for it because it's a marathon run. Why not, right? But if it takes me a couple tries, I'm just going to do it the normal way. And if I get this, I'll explain it. If not, well, I'll explain it anyway because I'm going to have a lot of downtime because the fight, doing it normally, is fairly long and pretty straightforward. So this strat is one of the most finicky in the entire run. In my opinion, it's the hardest strat in the entire run. So let's see if I can get this. Okay, I'm inside. This is one way to do it. If I can get out of here. Oh, wow. Hey, there we go. All right, so let's see if I can get this. This next part's actually quite hard. Oh, wow. Okay. That was, I think I, well, that's fine. It'll speed up the strat a little bit. So I kind of screwed it up there. I accidentally, my fat thumb hit the X button before I hit the A button. I was trying to homing attack out of that, but that's fine. So the idea behind that was that I could trigger the arm to go upward quickly instead of having to wait for this whole cycle to finish. And I get to the top, which is one of the places where you can hit him. It's one of the ways you can do this fight. I think normally you're supposed to homing attack enemies to get up on the arm. And you get to the very top, you do 2 bounces, and then you homing attack away. That's what I made a mistake and I didn't do. But that's okay. And so you do 2 homing attacks, or I'm sorry, you do 2 bounces and a homing attack. So instead of doing the 3rd bounce, which would normally launch you off in a scripted fashion, you wait, you let the missiles come down, and as soon as the missiles are about to hit Sonic, you do a either like a kick or a bounce or whatever, what have you. And what it does is that you get the 3rd hit, but the scripted sequence doesn't happen because the missiles force you back down, and you're able to land and then do another set of bounces and get knocked off. you could keep going, but you don't have any rings, so you would just die at that point. So it actually eliminates a whole cycle. It's quite fast, but I kind of sort of got like a half version there, so you could save a little bit of time. And then the thing crashes, it's a little awkward, and that's the fight. So, so yeah, that was a bit of a mistake on my part, but at least I got to show you, how to get up there early.
That was
Or
incredible.
at least what it looks like when you get up there early. I can't really explain how. It's very, very dumb. I'm actually surprised I managed to get in there first try. Ideally, you just land on top of the arm. You don't actually get stuck in him, but I'll take it. So right now we're going to be going to another level. This level is kind of infamous. In fact, in Triple Agent's current world record run, which is I believe a 39:30, it's either a 39:36 or a 39:32, I forget. I'm sorry, 59:56 or 59:32. I think 56. In that run, he actually would have saved 30 more seconds in that run, but he lost 30 seconds to this one particular thing in this level in Tropical Jungle, and that's the hanging bud. It's like a bud attached to a vine, but anyway, each bud will glow at a certain point, and it's, in my opinion, Trip agrees with me. In my opinion, I feel like each bud has its own individual timing, and it drives us nuts. So again, there's the first one coming up here. Whoops. And there you go. So I'm gonna wait till like a later point to grab that one. Now this one's the infamous one. Okay, I did it too early. Okay, good. If you do it too late, you will actually immediately fall. There's no recovery, and you fall into the water and die. So if that happens, you have to immediately start over, or else you're just going to waste time with a death.
Yeah, I've seen that happen to Trip quite a few times.
That particular bud is the infamous one. In fact, that one that I just passed a little while ago, that second bud in particular, that was the one that cost him those 30 seconds in his record run. He actually ended up getting record by about 2 seconds. So as good as his run is, which is crazy, right? It's like a 59:30. He still has 30 seconds to save, so it's quite nuts. But yeah, it's very difficult to do. This run's quite hard. So yeah, thankfully we got past all of them, so that's no problem. And once again, like it was in Flame Core, anti-grab is a bit broken. Actually, I think that was a bit early. Nope, I'm fine. So by holding anti-grab and releasing it on a vertical surface, you just kind of fall through. And what's really nice about that is that you see that whole loopy-loop section in the background there. What's annoying about that is that even though it's scripted, you would think Sonic would run quickly through it, but no, you practically walk through the whole thing. I don't know what happened with the physics there, but it's quite annoying. So you actually save a lot more time than you might think you would falling. In fact, if you ran quickly through the whole thing, it'd probably be even. So right here, again, I'm holding the shield and walking over the water to get to these areas quicker. Again, I think this is a portion of like one of Silver's levels, I forget. And I'm also angling the camera down to help reduce lag. So that's why I'm doing that. I'm gonna get hit here. That'll prevent me from getting the S rank. And 155, that's pretty good. That's Tropical Jungle. So again, we didn't get botched by any buds or anything like that. So thank God, because that's always very discouraging. Chicken Legs is very happy, as you heard. And we're having a good time, so Tropical Jungle is out of the way. And coming up, we're going to have, I believe, let's see, we're going to have a Tails mission. So for whatever reason, Tails is told that he needs to go to Wave Ocean to do something. And so we're basically going to play through a chunk of Wave Ocean again, like like most of Wave Ocean as Tails. If that ain't padding, I don't know what it is. So we're just gonna go over to this area again, using our flight trick from before to get over here quickly instead of using those boost things. The flight trick is incredibly handy. There's a bunch of other platforms that I'm supposed to go around and zigzag through the level across the water, but thankfully we can abuse it. The main thing about the trick is that during the initial flight, when I'm holding the A button for the first time, if I hold it too long and I hit the ceiling, Tails will immediately plummet, and that's what we don't want, because then it's just an immediate death on the water. Right here, I'm going to hit the speed pad at a very particular angle, and if I can get this trick correctly, which is not hard, carry the momentum, and we get all the way over here. I personally love that trick. It feels very fun to do. So we just kind of, again, abuse that momentum from riding along the physics of the loop, which we're not really supposed to do, obviously, and carrying that momentum through the jump and the flight. From here, it's pretty straightforward. Again, this is all the Sonic section that we did earlier. So I'm just going to go over to the end here. Watch out for these bars. Pretty lenient flights. Nothing, no gaps too big. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, all that jazz. Got the whale again. He's back. I don't know what his deal is. I'm going to carry the momentum through one of these pads here. Hold the button. There you go. And again, just using it once again.
I think the whale just hates rocks.
The whales hated me since SA1, and I just don't get it. You'd think he would have, you know, his grievances would be put to the side by now. And then the dolphin near the end tries to come out and bop you. I really don't understand what they want to do with these mammals. But anyway, that's about a 120, so that's a good time, about average for tails. And that's really it. So you basically fly over the majority of the level. So again, if you have the tails flight mechanics, the tricks on lock, it's really nothing too difficult. So a big meaty part of the run here that's coming up that's going to be it's quite a scary portion is the trials leading into Kingdom Valley. So the trials themselves are not too bad. The test of intelligence is brain dead. The test of love is straightforward. The test of courage is the scary one. Now I haven't had a problem with it in a long time, but I'm gonna try not to jinx myself too much, because the idea behind that particular trial is that if any single thing touches you, it's a one shot. And if you remember what I told you at the beginning of the run about dudes with the blue icons above their heads who give you missions and you have to sit through like 2 loading screens. Imagine sitting through a loading screen, talking to the guy again, sitting through a loading screen, loading the level, getting like most of the way through the level, dying, loading, talking to the guy again, loading, having to talk to the guy again, loading, having to talk to the guy. Do you see where I'm going with that? We really don't want that to happen. So I'm going to do my best to not die in the Trial of Courage. The other two are fine. But dying in that level, regardless of where you die in it, is one of the worst time saves you could possibly, or one of the worst time sinks you could have in a run. So it's next to like some of the major deaths in areas like Crisis City, it's astoundingly frustrating. Started with a spin dash there by accident, but that's fine. You actually just use the blue gem, go over here, and for some reason there's a spring here. Now, the idea behind that level is that you're supposed to go through all the portals, and you end up in these different areas, and it's basically you remember where the previous portal was that you went through, and if you fall through the wrong one, you go back to the beginning, blah 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 blah. But by going all the way to that one spring, bouncing up and conveniently homing attack to it, because again, the homing attack in this game is both your best friend and your worst enemy, you're able to get up there pretty quickly. Actually, I don't even think it's a death spring. I think it's just a spring that you jump to from one of the trees that you land on after a portal. I believe every spring in there is intended. So it was just a thing that they missed, to be honest. So again, this is the Trial of Courage. Again, everything one-shots me, so I'm going to be very careful. I have 3 gems, by the way. I have a blue gem, which I'll explain a little bit later. I have a green gem, which I'm going to use for this tornado move. And I have a red gem, which will slow down time. That one's going to be very crucial as far as safety. So I'm going to have the green gem on right now. And I have to make sure, again, that I do not get hit. It's very, very tricky with a lot of these enemies, because a lot of stuff can clip you, and it's quite annoying. So I'm going to quickly homing attack this guy. I'm going to jump and do the tornado. If you do the grounded one, it's very slow. I'm going to knock out these missiles. I'm going to switch to the red gem. There you go. And so while I'm holding the red gem, again, time is going slow, so it prevents me from getting, bopped by something stupid. Then I'm going to spawn this guy. And there you go. So very straightforward. Again, you're just going from enemy to enemy, killing them. The main scary part of that whole level is the very end before that big red robot. Those 2 blue ones that came down, if you don't use the red gem, it can be very, very risky, because they'll come down and shoot these tracking lasers at you. And so what would happen to me typically is that I would homing attack one, the other robot would turn to me, say, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? And shoot me with a laser, and then I would fall. And of course, that happens at the very end of the level. So you can imagine the time sink that would happen from doing that entire level, as well as having to sit through double of these loading screens. So thankfully, that didn't happen. Now, what's more important is that we decide as a group, who do we go to? Do we go to Elise or Amy? Fun fact, this does not impact the run at all. And what's better is that by the time this catches up to the chat, you're not going to be able to make a decision. So I'm going to pick Amy because, you know, I mean, I'm a very progressive person, like I said during the SGTQ run, but I really don't believe in a human kissing a hedgehog. So I'm just going to go with what feels right. And is Amy really the one? Of course, yes, she is. And that's that. So why that's a mission? Don't ask me. I don't really know. It doesn't make a difference to anything at all in the game, but it's a thing. And hey, we S-ranked it, so that means I'm pretty awesome.
But it's a fraction of a second slower, so you should reset.
You know, between that and who's the captain being 250, you are right. You are absolutely right. I should just turn my stream off right now. I apologize to everyone. Next up is Mighty Number 9 coming at you. Anyway, we got to grab this bird here. This bird helps us out quite a bit in this next level. This is one of my personal favorites as far as the actual design of the level, which makes sense because it's the first level that they made for the game, as when it was a tech demo back when it actually had promised, Kingdom Valley. And a cool part about this level that I love is that there's a big section where we're supposed to play as Silver, but we're going to skip it. That won't be until a little bit later, but yeah, there's a number of cool things in this level, so I'll point them out as we go along. Right at the beginning, we're gonna have a big skip. So there's all this stuff in front of us. I'm gonna go over here because I think this looks cooler. I'm just gonna fall. There you go. And now I'm at the next part. So right here, normally you would go up and you would hit one of the enemies and do one of their little fancy Havoc physics set pieces, but I'm actually going to go this little shortcut. And again, so the blue gem, I haven't explained that yet, the blue gem gives you Mach speed level properties. The good thing about this is that you can mash it and it gives you a lot of speed. The bad thing is that you can easily run into stuff like I just did. And also, you can bonk on anything. It's a huge meme in the 06 community. Just like bonking on stuff in Mach speed. Like there's a thing coming up in the hub world later on to where I will be very excited if I get bonkless. Bonkless is a big deal during that portion of the run. The interesting thing to note is that you see that meter at the bottom right. If you remember during the Elise levels, I'm sorry, Chicken Legs levels. I am so sorry, I keep forgetting. That meter normally drains. It's supposed to drain here with the gems, but because the code isn't implemented properly, it's actually infinite. And right here, I'm actually able to jump off the bird at any point. So I'm going to jump off and go through this section. So what it normally does is it takes me all the way to Silver, and then Silver's like, hey, dude, you know, let's do something cool. And you get to play Silver. But I'm thinking, why would I ever want to play as Silver when I'm wanting to play Sonic? This is Sonic's story, not Silver's story. You know, that's stupid. So I'm just going to ignore Silver entirely and go through his section of the level because I think I do it better, as you can see. And then I'm going to load myself because Sonic loves to compliment himself. And we're just going to skip to the end of this portion. So, yeah, pretty sick. So the one Silver portion in Sonic's story we don't have to do. Thank God. This next section is the third out of 4. Or 4 sections. And there's a couple of clips here. I'm not too great at them, but I'm going to go for them because I've really been wanting to implement them recently. Instead of killing these enemies, I can go through this door. And there you go. So that worked out. There's 2 of them that I have to do. So it's a pretty precise clip. Right here, I'm going to abuse the homing attack to get to these areas early instead of having to wrap all the way around. I'm just using the blue gem here and there. I use the blue gem quite a bit in Kingdom Valley. A lot of other people find a lot of risk in it, which is understandable. There's some really scary points that I use it in, but it is, you know, slightly faster in some areas, but it's quite a bit difficult to control in places. So there's some real risk to it. I'm thinking about one section coming up that I want to use it on. I'm not sure yet. Maybe not. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll see when it comes to it. So I'm gonna jump, jump. And here's the next clip, if I can get it. There we go. That was a bit trickier for me. Jump around here. What's scary about that lightspeed dash is that because the bounce button and the lightspeed dash button are mapped to the same action button, you can accidentally, if you time that lightspeed dash incorrectly, you can accidentally plummet to the water. Right here, I can use the blue gem. I'm just not gonna risk it. If you use the blue gem and you go down those stairs, you can actually get down way quicker than using the homing attacks. But the problem is that if you accidentally bonk on anything, which is incredibly difficult to avoid doing because of how the blue gem controls, you will get caught by the falling stairs and not have time to recover, and you will die. So I'm going to abuse the tornado gem here to kill those enemies, and we're going to go to the Mach Speed section. I'm not going to talk too much in this Mach Speed section for two reasons. Number one, it's pretty straightforward. I've already really explained everything there is to know about Mach Speed, so you guys are good. Two, this is my favorite music track in the game, and I really want to enjoy it. Beautiful, isn't it? You know, if we have a donation or two, you're more than welcome to go ahead.
We're still sitting at the $770 we were at before.
Okay.
So again, remind you that this is an online charity event in benefit of California fire victims by American Red Cross. All the money we donate will go directly to them, and it is earmarked for the fire victims. So you don't have to worry about it being siphoned off to somewhere else. This money is going right to the cause that we're raising it for. In addition, you can see that we have a lot of different games and some incentives for them. The incentives, many of them, the challenge ones, are based on an overall donation amount, so any donations you make will go towards those. And there are also a few that, if you wish, I believe are doing naming incentives for a few as well.
All right, so this next area, again, this is the area I was talking about where I want to try to avoid bonking because I'm going to be using the blue gem quite a bit here. And there's a lot of people that can get in the way. Oh, I bonked. All right, the dream's dead. Well, is what it is. So I have to hit all these 3 bells to activate the next area, which is the last level of the game, aquatic base. So we're gonna go. We already got that one. The trees always get me. Oh, Susie is just always in the way. I hate Susie. So we got the second bell here, and we're on our way to the third one. Now, on our way there, I'm going to pick up one last gem from the shop. And this is a very important gem. Unfortunately, we can't get it earlier in the run, but it does make aquatic base completely, completely busted. And that is the sky gem. So the idea behind the sky gem is that, well, I'll let it speak for itself. Oh, hello. Please ring the bell. There you go. Hey, look at that. I've never actually made it in that way before. So the sky gem is a very interesting gem. I have no idea why they implemented it, but they did. The idea is that you throw this object, and wherever it collides, as long as it touches a physical object in the world, Sonic will be immediately drawn to it. Obviously, distance really doesn't matter, and we're going to be abusing that quite a bit, as well as on the final boss, and that's a treat to see. So I hope you guys are excited for that. If you have not seen it before, so I'm going to be abusing the blue gem for a number of parts. There's some corridors here that all kind of wrap around the same way, like this sort of left. And so it's a little bit faster if I can angle myself away from the dash pads and use the blue gem. It's quite tricky to control. Oops. But it does save a little bit of time. Bop this guy. And so I'm gonna switch to the Sky Gem here. This trick is a bit difficult for me, honestly. I've had some problems with it lately, but I'm gonna try to get it. Oh, fell out there. Let's try this again. Oh, I fell inside. Let's try that again. Oh, get a ring here. Ah, these guys are quite mean, honestly. All right, so we made it. So I'm in between these rooms, and there's a pretty finite amount of space I can actually put Sonic in, which makes that setup really difficult. But once you're in there, it's pretty straightforward. So the cool thing about Sky Gym is that I can send myself in between doors and collision pretty easily. Because the thing about putting it at a vertical surface is that when Sonic tries to go upward, he can get stuck and he'll be forced in between certain surfaces. So what's cool about that is that we can use it to gain height very quickly, but we can also use it to, again, get ourselves through those very, very thin walls. And we're going to be doing that pretty much constantly throughout the run. So there's a lot of menuing between the Sky Gym and using the Blue Gym, and there's also a bit of a Red Gym use that I personally use later on. Oops, gotta watch out for those. So yeah, aquatic base. It's another example of the sort of difficulty curve in the run that I really enjoy about this is that, you know, there's some waves throughout, but this is really kind of the epitome of taking what you've learned up to this point as far as gym use and control, and applying it also with the new Sky Gym issue. So it's pretty interesting, to be honest. Whoa, whoopsie daisy. Oh crap. Got a bit stuck there. There you go. It's a little sloppy, but that's no problem. So again, Knuckles is back, so if you want to get some and Knuckles in for the last time, feel free to go ahead. He's going to help us out one last time.
We did get another $30 donation. It's anonymous and it has no comment, but thank you regardless. We definitely
Thank you so much.
appreciate it.
Knuckles, thanks. All right, let's roll.
And we can see Sea Turtle. I call him Savvy. I named him. No one else has. So if I go up in the sky there, you get to see Savvy. So he's a pretty cool turtle. And right here, I'm holding the Red Gym because these doors will close behind me pretty quickly, and it's kind of risky to use the Blue Gym for me personally. Yeah, I like getting hit right there because I fall immediately, and then once I land, I can go straight into the Blue Gym. So 312, not a sub 3, not the greatest aquatic base. I got pretty sloppy in some places, but you know, straightforward, no deaths or anything like that. In fact, I don't think I've died. Yeah, this run hasn't had one death, so that's pretty good. I think that's a good thing to have. And so now we're going to the final boss. Now just to clarify, there is a strat that I personally cannot do. I honestly physically cannot do it with the D-pad and gym menu and everything. It's not something that I'm gonna learn until it's like the last thing that I want to learn for this category period, if I go into that kind of detail. Ghost my PB is a 149, I believe, but or 101.49, I apologize. So there's a strat that you can do at the very beginning of this fight, and if you get it perfectly, you can get anywhere between like a 3 to 5 second fight. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an alternative strat that's not going to be quite that fast, but it's going to be pretty fast. So if I time this properly, and time's coming up, time. And that is it. So what just happened, I threw the Sky Gym as soon as I was jumping to his horn, and I actually used a particular time on the timer to count it. And by doing so, Sonic is actually ripped straight from the horn and is pulled back down on the platform. If you wait there and do not do anything, Eggman will fly far enough from the map to where after about 32 to 33 seconds, he will despawn and the fight will end. But if I'm able to run off the platform, launch Sonic up, and get just the right angle in order to get him to go high enough to hit either some sort of trigger or make the game think that he's far away enough from Eggman, it'll finish around 21 to 22 seconds. So again, you're either looking at around a 33-second fight, a 22-second fight, or
That was
or you know, like
incredible.
a 5-second fight.
That
What was my time?
That time was a 102.02. And
That's
I
not
see
bad.
in the chat someone saying 07. No, with the time I started and paused the timer was consistent.
Okay.
So it's a 102.02.
That's all right. I was pretty yeah, I mean, it's not the cleanest run, but you know, that was way better than a lot of my practice runs. So hey, I'm pretty happy with that. And hopefully, again, I gave you guys a good showing. Again, I this is a game that I've come back to off and on quite a bit. I've really been enjoying it. It's something I'm grinding a lot. I'm going for the 1 hour time. May or may not be going for world record. Don't really know yet. But you know, if anyone in here is interested in seeing more of this category, um, feel free to drop me a follow on my stream, and I'll be doing this quite a bit more. And you know, anyone else who happens to be doing this category actively on Twitch, I know Yish has been doing some stuff. Some other people in the community have been doing some stuff. But yeah, it's a wonderful category. It's one that I love, and it's a lot of fun. So if you guys want to see more of that, feel free to do that. And yeah, thank you guys for having me so much. It was a really fun run. And again, as I said earlier, I'm happy to be helping out with the marathon. I'm happy to have helped out with the layouts and been able to do a run. And next up, you know, if you, I mean, if we're talking about bad games, we got another one coming up. So Mighty Number 9 is coming up by our good friend, I believe, Mr. Cab, if I remember the name. Yes. And so that's a pretty entertaining run, despite the game, unfortunately. So it's I would definitely check it out. It's a really cool watch. So hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you around. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And we're going to go play another quick ad, and then we will be back with Mighty Number 9.
Well, it's so late at night, so I can understand.
All right.
Do I wanna be able
Welcome
to see my
to
spots?
being live, everyone.